Let's start standing. So come onto your mat and stand up. And if you need to move stuff out of the way, I don't know if you guys can see it, but my kids made a block line as an obstacle course earlier, so the remnants are still all around the room. But we'll start standing. Split your feet to hips with distance, soften in your knees, and just shake. We haven't had a good shake in a while. And it is a nice way to reset tension or emotion in the body, partially because it feels so silly to do. Just shake it off. I don't teach this class to music anymore, but we could cue up some Mariah Carey and go to town on that particular song for this time that we're bouncing. And you can bounce from side to side, or you can focus up on your toes, which sometimes makes me feel like I'm gonna fall over. Back on your heels. Some folks think of shaking meditation as a sort of dance. Other times, I talk about it as a sort of Etch-a-Sketch style reset where you shake the whole thing and everything settles back to a neutral position. Kids always like to make funny noises. One thing to pay attention to as you bounce or shake is just if there's anything that's tightening. So I remember having one student talk about how she felt like her arm was not moving, her arm and shoulder, and then she realized that's the side she holds her coffee on, and it's just used to not moving when the rest of her shakes. So try to unclench those places that are used to clenching. And if your legs are starting to feel warm or tired, you can slow yourself down to stand. We'll be coming to stand in mountain over the next 5 to 10 breaths. If you get there a little early, where you bounce your way slower and slower in slow motion until you're just still, these are all perfectly good ways to get there. Once you find stillness, you might notice your elevated heart rate or that you have to more consciously steady your breath. Let your breath come in and your breath go out. In through the nose and then back out. One more time. Inhaling. And exhaling. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. And with your exhale, bring your palms straight down to center chest. Press your thumbs into your chest and you can feel that point of contact. Bow your chin gently to your chest and acknowledge whatever it was that got you to yoga today. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Acknowledging that sense of purpose as you start to move Inhale, your arms go up and overhead. As you exhale, bend your knees and fold straight down. And take a long flat back at the bottom. You'll inhale your chest forward, your hips back, and try to shift the weight back towards your heels. Exhale and fold down. Drop your head. If you're also pregnant and I don't know that, you can keep your elbows on your thighs. But if you can shake your head yes and no, shake your head yes and no. Let your neck be free. On your next inhale, press into your feet. Sweep your arms all the way up. Breathe in. And with your exhale, hands to center. We'll do that again. Inhale, sweep high. Exhale, swan dive down or fold straight through center, whatever feels best. Lengthen out your spine, chest forward, hips back, inhaling. Exhaling and fold down. Inhale, stretch high. Exhale, hands to center. Sweep right up on your inhale. And fold in half as you exhale. This time, halfway lift as you inhale, and if you're at the back of your mat, at the front of your mat, wherever you are as you exhale, walk your way to down dog. And if down dog doesn't make sense in your wrists or shoulders, you can tap down into table. But for first down dog, pedal it out, bend in your knees, sway in your hips. And again, if it feels better to be in table, hands and knees, that's no problem. And just give your hips a sway down here. And take a deep breath in. If you're in down dog, lift up onto your toes. On your exhale, bend your knees. Slowly drop them to the floor for table. You can be on fists or flat palms, whatever works best for you, but on your inhale, arch your spine for cow pose. And on your exhale, round up for cat. We'll add to this on the next go through, but if you need extra cushion for your knees, take a moment to grab a towel or a blanket and spread it out underneath you. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. One more time with the traditional cat-cow. So you inhale, arching your chest forward, your hips backing up. Exhale, round, lifting through the spine. But this time, tiptoe your hands towards you so that you come up to stand on your knees. And if you need extra cushion, again, you can put blocks underneath your knees. You'll bring your hands to the small of your back. Hug your elbows in towards one another. And press down firmly through the tops of your feet. Take a breath in, lift your chest up. Maybe your hips can go forward. Exhale, sustain. One more breath in. And as you exhale, if you need a block to sit your hips back towards your heels, get a block. Put the block between your heels and sit down. And take a breath in here and a breath out. We'll add some more layers, so we'll keep building. Inhale, your arms go up. And as you exhale, take your right hand to your left thigh, your left hand behind your back. Now you can wrap it or land it on the floor, whatever works best for you. Sit tall as you breathe in. And look left as you breathe out. Inhale, up through center, stand up on your knees. And as you exhale, bring your hands to your hips, shift your hips forward. Inhale, up through a straight spine, arms go up. And as you exhale, you'll shift your hips slowly back to your blocks. Hands to center as you get settled. Excuse me. You'll bring your left hand this time to your right thigh, your right hand behind your back, second twist. So you're turning to the right. And again, what you do with your right hand isn't as important as the direction. So sit up tall as you breathe in. Anchor through your hips and try to look to the left. The look can be from your heart space, from your belly, or your eyes if that works for you. Breathe in and breathe out. As you inhale, you'll come back through center, sweep your arms up. And with your exhale, hands to hips, gently send the hips forward. This time a neutral spine with your breath in. And with your exhale, come to table. If you need to move blocks out of the way, move them out of the way. If you need blocks underneath your forearms to make your wrists happy, you can grab them instead. You'll take a cow pose with your in-breath and a cat pose with your out-breath. Take a deep breath in with a neutral spine as you inhale. And with your exhale, making sure that you have enough space to do so, extend your right leg straight back behind you. Let your hips square off towards the floor. So if you notice your right hip is sort of rolling up, level it back down towards the ground. Take a breath in here and we'll look for some stability. So you can keep the right foot on the ground and hug the right foot in as if it were trying to pull against the mat. Extend the left arm forward. That sense of hugging and pulling in activates some of the muscles in the bum, around the pelvis. You can keep the right foot down or lift the right foot up. But try to, even as you're lifting, keep that sense of hugging into your hips. So you breathe in and you breathe out. We'll take another inhale. And with your exhale, set the left hand down, guide the right foot forward. And we'll come into a low lunge. Right knee is over your right heel. Let your hips come forward of your back knee and pause here. So your hands can stay on your thigh for support as you lunge forward. And if you're feeling like the cushion under your knee isn't enough, take care and change it up, no problem. But the right knee is over the right heel. You can stay low with the hands on the thigh for support, or take a breath in and a breath out. And eventually maybe lift the left arm up and reach it overhead. This can have a little bit of a balancing element to it, so you can stay here with your hand on your thigh, or you can catch your right hand around your left wrist and gently draw over. Side bending. Take a breath in and a breath out. And again, if you're feeling like you're too wobbly to have both hands in the air, that's okay. You can reach for a chair or the wall. Let yourself feel stable by anchoring through your feet. One more inhale. And with your exhale, you'll bring both hands down to the inside edge of your right foot. Curl your left toes under and walk your hands over to the left. So you come into a wide-legged forward fold. Awesome. Soften through both knees for a moment. Lengthen out your spine. Breathe in. And as you exhale, if it feels okay, you can fold. If it would feel better in your body to keep your head in line with your shoulders, in line with your hips, just put some blocks underneath your hands. If there's a blood pressure thing or if it's just warm, sometimes it feels a little heady to drop the head below the hips. You can stay here or sway the hips from side to side. We'll We'll take on some movement through the shoulders when you feel ready. So you're welcome to stay in your forward fold as long as you like. When you're ready for the motion, you'll bend in your knees, lengthen your chest forward away from your hips as you inhale. And with your exhale, keep the left hand or fist down, sweep the right arm up, pause, take a full breath in at the top. And with your exhale, bend your right elbow, draw it back in space. Breathe in, sweeping your right arm forward. And as you exhale, place it down. Inhale, the left arm goes up. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale, back up through center, swinging forward. Exhale, the left hand down. The right arm will lift as you inhale. Exhale, the elbow back and down. Breathe in, sweeping forward. This time as you breathe out, take the left arm high and pause. Get a little bit more space. So the left arm lifts as the right hand is down. You inhale and open. Exhale, bend the left elbow, draw it back. Inhale, reach forward and down. Exhale, pause. All right. So from here, you'll walk both hands, and you might take your blocks with you if you're using them, over to your left foot. And take a breath in as your hands go to the left. And as you exhale, bend in your right knee. Now you can stay here or walk your hands towards your left ankle if you have the space. My growing belly is making that a little bit less spacious and available, but maybe it's available for you to get both hands to your foot. Take a breath in. Even as you walk your hands away from your right leg towards the left leg, when you bend the right knee, you're making the whole plane of the right side just a little bit longer on the upper body. We'll take one more breath in, getting straight through the right leg. Exhale, bend in the right knee. This time you'll inhale to straighten out. Walk your hands all the way over to the right. Turn the right toes out. And if you want to take blocks along for the ride to triangle, take them. You can put them inside or outside, whatever works best for you. Hips slide back, left arm lifts up. And if you notice that your belly or chest are turning towards the floor, that means you need more height. So maybe you get an extra block, or maybe you skip the block and keep your hand more towards your shin so that your chest can open. Breathe in, reaching up. And breathe out. One more inhale. Hugging the hips back. And with your exhale, bend in the right knee. Bring both hands down to the floor. And if you need to fix props to set the left knee down, set it down. And you'll turn your right toes up. So we find a half split. Right toes come high. Take a deep breath in. And a full breath out. Now with the toes lifting, bring your hands to your hips and try to level off from right to left. So sometimes you notice that one side is sort of sticking to the side or lifting up. You can put your hands right on your hip creases. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more inhale. With your exhale, you have some choices here. You can use a wall or use your blocks, but try to float your right foot up off the floor for a second. See if you can get a little lift. Take a breath in. Consciously set the right foot down, or right knee down beside the left. You'll inhale both arms up. Exhale your hands to the small of your back. Hug your elbows in. Send your hips forward. Breathe into a neutral spine. And with your exhale, if you need a block under your butt, get the blocks and sit back. Okay. Inhale, the arms go up again. Hips come over knees. This time as you exhale, right hand comes to your left thigh, left hand comes behind your back. You'll sit back and turn. Awesome. Inhale, straight up. Arms over hips, over knees. Exhale, rotate second side. Last time now. Inhale, arms go up. This time as you exhale, hands to hips, send the hips forward. We'll pause for a breath in. Try to let your shoulders draw down your back. And if it makes you feel dizzy, taking a back bend, keep your eyes straight ahead, or even tuck your chin to your chest so this isn't coming into your neck. Take another breath in. And with your exhale, come to a neutral spine first. And then find table. Moving the blocks as you need. And you can take a cat-cow, getting situated. Inhale to arch your spine. Exhale to round your back. Okay. Now this time, you'll extend the left leg back behind you. Tap the toes down. And try to find that sense of hugging the toes towards the right knee. So it's hugging across the body. And you can get firm through the left wrist or fist or even put your forearm on a block, but you'll extend the right arm right in front of you. Take a breath in and decide, is this enough? Or does it feel good and strong to lift the left leg up? We'll take 3 breaths. Looking for that sense of support within the context of the shape. 2. 1 more inhale, lifting. And with your exhale, you'll set the right hand down, guide the left foot forward. This might be the moment where you notice your water cup and get some water. When you're ready, you're setting into this lunge, letting the hips come forward of the back knee. Let your hips come forward and down. Maybe you stay here with your hands on your left thigh. Maybe the right arm lifts. Anchoring through the top of your right foot. So there's still a lot of strength happening. Even as you gently sway the torso to that side body stretch, you can stay here or take your left hand to your right wrist and draw up and over. Let your breath come in and your breath go out. One more inhale. And with your exhale, guide both hands down to the inside edge of your left foot. If you need to reach to find your blocks, grab them. You'll curl your right toes under as you walk your hands over into a wide-legged forward fold. And this time it might feel good to sway in the hips from side to side if you didn't already do that. If it feels nice, you can walk your hands back behind the line of your legs. But if that makes you feel dizzy or nauseous, don't do it. Let your breath come in and your breath go out. We'll do our shoulders. So right hand stays down on your inhale. Take the left arm high. With your exhale, bend the left elbow back in space. Options a half bind as we stay for another beat. So your left hand could find your right hip. Inhale to open. And as you exhale, you'll start to turn your upper body towards the floor. Let the left hand come down. Slightly different movement pattern this time. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, the right elbow bends back in space. You can half bind if that feels good, turning to the right as you breathe in. And with your exhale, release the right hand down. Inhale the left arm high. Exhale, bend. Half bind if that's accessible or to the degree that it is. Breathe in. Exhale, release the left hand down. Right side, last time. Inhaling and exhaling. Half bind, maybe. Breathe in. Exhale, both hands down as you breathe out. This time your hands are going to walk towards your right leg, and you might keep the blocks under your hands. Try to shift your hips away from your right foot. So if you notice your bum is kind of shifting over, give the right leg a lot of space. Take a breath in. Maybe your hands are touching your foot. As you exhale, bend in the left knee. Breathe in. And with your exhale, bend. One more time. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhale, bend. As you inhale, straighten up your legs, walk the blocks around the front. Turn your left toes to the left. And if you want more support, more blocks, whatever you need, you can take a moment to get it. But we're setting up triangle pose on the left. So the left toes are pointing forward. You can hug your heels in, but spin your chest open. Right arm goes high. When I was newer to yoga, despite the strength that's required of this pose, I remember hearing it called a water pose. Trikonasana, this triangle shape. Try to open up and then imagine anything that can soften, softening. Letting it go into the extremities and out. And take another breath in. And with your exhale, bend your left knee. Let your right knee touch down as your right hand comes down. You'll straighten the left leg, adjusting the props as you need to find half split or half monkey god pose. Ardha Hanumanasana. Left toes turn up, hips level off. Excuse me. And we'll pause. You can be low, you can be high, but try to avoid locking down into your left knee. Instead, press through the back of the left heel and draw the left hip back. So you're getting a lot of length along the back line of your leg. And take a breath in. And a breath out. Maybe you're folding a little deeper for this one last breath. And then we'll play with balance. So you can bring your hands to your hips. See if just maybe it might be accessible to lift the left leg up. You're welcome to use a wall or a chair, or even take your arms out like a tightrope walker and try to lift the left leg that way. Slowly you'll set the left right. On your inhale, sweep your arms up, overhead. On your exhale, bring your hands by your hips. Wrap your elbows in, send your hips forward. Inhale, hips over knees, chest over hips, arms go high. And with your exhale, you'll bring your left hand to your right thigh, sit your hips back, and take your right hand behind your back. Inhale, both arms up, hips over knees. Exhale, twisting in the second direction, right hand to left thigh, left hand behind your back. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to the small of your back. Last time with a little camel. So press through the tops of your feet. If you're feeling like you need more support or anchoring in your thighs, you can put a block between them. Squeeze the block, hug it in, send your hips forward, lift your chest up, breathe in. And breathe out. One more inhale. And with your exhale, you'll release slowly. You can come towards child's pose or table and take some hip sways. So for child's pose, your hips come back towards your heels. Child's pose feels nice, you can stay a little longer. If your shoulders and neck are needing some love, we'll set up puppy pose. So you have two options, child's pose or Anahata Asana, or Anahata is your heart chakra, so heart chakra asana, where you bring your chest down towards the floor but let your hips stay over your knees. Now, oftentimes when folks set this up, they report that their low back is not happy. So something you can do as you're coming into this shape is almost give your bum a little tuck under first. Walk your hands forward. And then as you release your chest down, the bum doesn't stay tucked, but it keeps the pose out of the low back and brings it more towards the mid and upper back, which is the aim. I'll talk through a couple of additional modifications since this can be intense. If your chest doesn't reach the floor, you can fold up a towel or a blanket and provide extra support. We're gonna stay here for a few beats. So you wanna let yourself get some semblance of comfort. You can also simply bend the elbows out to the side, and for some that's enough support by taking some of the pressure out. So that would look like this. Take a breath in and a full breath out. If you still have the sense that this pose is unraveling in a helpful way, stay. If you're ready to come out, you'll press into your hands and paw them back towards you. Knee walk your way into seated. And bring the soles of your feet together with your knees out to the side. You'll guide your blocks or some sort of support underneath your knees. And we're going to take butterfly as a forward fold now. So give yourself enough support to do that in a way that's comfortable. And it's okay if there's a little round. We're kind of going for the opposite shape through the spine that we were just in. So we had this pretty deep sending of the chest forward towards the ground. Now we'll support underneath your head and chest. You can pull the bolster all the way into your hip creases unless there's a baby in the way. And you'll fold. Now, if the bolster doesn't quite meet you where you want your chest and head to be, you can make the bolster taller by adding blocks, or you can add a layer of a towel or a blanket rolled up to give a little bit more support where your body is wanting it. Once you find the shape, you want it to be able to support you with the props, not by virtue of having to press or activate. So if you're noticing that you're pushing your elbows into the ground or you're into your shins, find a way to add more height or support so that you can take that pressure out, that activation out. And as you get quieter in your shape and in your body, you might notice that some things get louder. Your ability to perceive the outside world comes into a sort of heightened focus. If you can turn that heightened focus towards the sensations of calming in your body, you start to support the action of restoration, or the process of finding calm, ease. You're welcome to stay here as long as it feels good. That will be generally true for the last bit of class, so if there's a place you just don't want to get out of, stay. When it's time to come up, you'll walk your hands in slowly, and you can move, or I should say dismantle, this ramp that's in front of you. If you're using a bolster, set it behind your back. You might need to slide down your mat a little bit depending on your space. You can use your hands to help your knees up, or just shift your hips a little bit forward. We're going to turn sideways. So you'll want the bolster to be underneath your side body as we come down. And some folks prefer to have a folded up blanket as the neck support. Some folks prefer to have the firmness of a block. When you see where we're going, you might decide to change it up. But you'll lean your right side body over the bolster. Let your right arm and shoulder come past the bolster, and let your head come onto whatever support is past the bolster. You want your head to be roughly in line with your neck. So I'm finding that I did not fold this up enough for my neck today. And you can make it pretty bulbous, or even put a block underneath a blanket, rolled up, or roll two blankets. You don't want to have to do any work, but you want to get some passive opening along your side body. A couple of additional possibilities if there's tenderness in your body. You might find that you want a towel or something soft under your side, because it can feel like a lot of weight in the hip. So you can add a towel. And if you have tenderness in your low back, adding something underneath your knees, like an extra pillow, can be nice. You can have your left arm or your top arm, wherever is comfortable. You can rest it on your hip. You can rest it on your bolster. Some folks even like to rest it overhead, which just makes the left side line a little longer. If that doesn't feel too effortful, you're welcome to do that. So as we're here, let your breath steady itself. And so hopefully there isn't any sort of active doing. Ideally, the pose doesn't require any active doing. If you find that you're trying or striving, add more support or change the pose so that you can find a sense of ease instead. You can stay here, but when you feel ready for the second side, we're just going right to the second side. Sometimes I make the transitions more tricky or complicated, but today, when it's time, you'll bring your left hand down and simply roll over, sliding the left arm between the bolster and the neck pillow, and bringing your spine so it's roughly in alignment. Sometimes the head does dip a bit. You can add extra support so that it's more in line. With the rest of your spine. As the posture gets quiet, notice if there's any desire to fill the space or if you can sit with the quiet. One of the more challenging aspects of restorative or easeful yoga is this idea of being with the quiet. Over the next few breaths, we'll be transitioning. So you might need to shift towards the edge of the bolster, just so that you can roll your back along the edge. We're coming towards a variation of supported fish with the arms resting over the top of the bolster. And your head, ideally, is still supported by this towel roll block contraption you've created, but you might need to adjust the height. You can bring the soles of your feet to the floor as you move, if you're moving. Some folks will prefer to extend the legs out. If that doesn't feel good, it's not required. You're just looking for a sense of ease here. As a heads up, this will be our last pose before Shavasana. So if you'd prefer to stay here through the duration of Shavasana, you can. I'll cue you to transition in about 2 or 3 minutes, but if you'd like to go there early and take a longer period of time, you can. If you'd like to stay in your supported fish, please do. If you feel called to move to a traditional Shavasana, you can walk your feet in if your legs were extended. Press down into your elbows or take a hold of your thighs to help you sit up. And we'll pause to move the bolster around so it can come underneath your legs. you need to change the pillow, probably will, you can turn your blanket into a different shape for a neck pillow, or simply just roll it up underneath your neck. You'll bring yourself down gently, letting your head rest. And bringing the bolster right into the place in your thighs or the backs of your knees that most needs the support. Once you're all the way on the ground or in the final resting pose, take a few breaths to walk your body or walk your mind through your body. So noticing your feet, your calves, your knees, your quads, your thighs, your pelvis, your back and your belly, your rib cage, your shoulders, your upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands. And bring your awareness into your head, noticing all the parts. Eyes, ears, mouth, nose, jaw. And as your mind scans through your body, thank each part for participating in practice, for doing the yoga, for coming together. And then release. As we near the end of practice, if you have the time to stay in Shavasana a little longer, you can mute the video and just stay until you feel complete. As it's time to come out of the shape, you'll bring the soles of your feet to the floor or to the bolster one at a time. Use your feet and the strength of your legs to help you roll to your side. Pausing, still resting, but slowly waking up the body, reconnecting to the active world. When you feel ready, you'll sit up by pressing into your hands. If you need something to sit on, you can grab a blanket, a towel, some blocks, whatever works. Perfect. Let your body find a sense of ease in your seat, regardless of what it looks like. Take a moment to really take stock of what that easeful feeling is in your body, in your mind, in your heart, wherever it resonates most. From that connection to your inward ease, we'll bring palms together and have a little bow to our community in this practice group and whoever else it might touch. May all beings be peaceful. Thank you for sharing practice, y'all.